Hello, good morning. Jared and myself were playing around with the new Autodesk Construction Cloud, and if you've been following my videos, I've sort of made a start on a series of videos of uploading them to ACC, and then in one of the chats with Jared, we were talking about using design collaboration to see if it would work with plant files. I know it works with Revit, and it works quite well, but I don't know how we're going to go with Plant3D files. We have not scripted any of this. This is all raw. You can see the files are still at V1 and they were uploaded 2 days ago. So everything we're doing now, you're seeing straight off the bat. If we break it, we break it. If we don't, we don't. If anyone on the call has used it or wants to try something, then obviously just yell out. This is an open sort of forum. There's you know, again, we're sort of treating this like we're all sitting together in an office and just sort of playing around during the lunch break. Okay, so this is again just a standard out of the box Plant3D 2022 project. It is actually my training project, so 2 p&ids and a handful of piping equipment and structural models. I've already uploaded these, about a couple of weeks ago. I started it and then I just sort of uploaded some files the other day. They're all still at V1s. Again, and I haven't done anything with the setup in here. I've done it, but so Roland's or Buddy's saying, what'd you say, Buddy, again? I can tell how it works. I've done it. It works with the viewer for ACC is different than BIM and has a different finish to it. Okay. So Jared and myself are both in here as administrators, and then you can see we've got the files just in docs at the moment. So, and Jared is obviously in New Zealand, and he's got his own copy open. So what we're planning to do is, I would, you know, maybe open and edit a file and then send a work pack to Jared, and then Jared's going to share his screen, and then we'll see what it looks like, I guess, from opposing ends. So. Oh, yep. So we've got the project, we got teams or a shared folder. Okay. I think that was the one I played around with. So the default location for newly added teams is project files. So that's the folder of the plant project name, but we don't want that, do we? So do we want, Jared, we don't want teams in p&ids, do we? We're talking 3D, aren't we?
Yeah, we're talking 3D.
Okay. So let's do equipment. Piping. And structural. So create a coordination space. You can't. So anyone got any comments on this coordination space?
Let's unmute Buddy, because Buddy's done it before.
Should we leave it in there, Buddy, or make a new, like, shared?
Can you unmute him, Tom?
I'm not muting him.
I think you can. I don't think you can get rid of it.
So you just leave it?
Yeah, you just leave them.
Okay. Okay. So there's an equipment team, structural piping. So if I make a work pack, of my piping model, and I share it. So piping model shared with GM solutions. Okay, does that all make sense? I've done it right? All right, so did you get a notification, Jared, or is it just?
No, I haven't got anything yet. Let me just refresh my emails and see if anything comes through.
Or do you just go into design coordination and consume it?
So in design coordination, so what one did you do? The piping.
Piping.
So it's coming up on my.
Do you want to share yours?
Yeah, sure.
I think only administrators can remove model coordinate basis, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
But in the piping terms, you're not really consuming packages, are you? Or do we need to split it out? Should Jared have his own team space and then Tom has his own?
It kind of depends on how you want to break it up by discipline. So teams can kind of figure out what they want to do. What other disciplines are they working together with? Like piping is definitely going to need the structural models as soon as possible, and and so on and so forth. So I think the breakdown is really more company and workflow specific, but it doesn't have to be the way you use it out of the box.
Mm. So if you click on that green white circle there,
Yeah.
So then so piping model shared. So you consume it.
Should bring it into your team space and update any Revit. Like, see, it's all it's very Revit focused, isn't it? Buddy, I don't know what you think, but the way that we've seen this is it's very forced towards the Revit sort of space construction.
It's definitely geared initially for Revit and Revit functionality, but there's been significant investment in the DWG adoption in these cloud technology tools. And, what you're looking in that swim lane is definitely the beginning of that investment. But you'll also see as we get more mature with BIM, we'll see some of the cool things that BIM does for for projects that we just didn't have before, guys. This is pretty revolutionary for the DWG platform.
So, see, okay. So, Jared, I'm just looking at mine now. So, if you switch back up to Docs, so that's copied that file into a shared location, which is useless to us.
That's useless to us because we've got a project structure that we're really working with anyway. So I could go and open that file. You've got shared piping, this one here. I can open that file from Plant3D anyway. So I don't see why we would share it if I was actually included in this part of the project. I've been invited to the project.
Docs, you can see everything in Docs, but you just can't see them combined.
Well, I mean, I don't think this is really going to work then for Plant, because you can't, we can't reference outside of the project. And in theory, everyone on the project sees the whole project anyway.
From a plant point of view, yes.
Yeah. From Plant3D point of view, right? But from just stakeholders who don't use AutoCAD or any type of CAD tool, BIM is their option to gain access to models and drawings without having to need a CAD tool installed and learn how to use it.
Okay, right. So it's more.
So it's not for users; it's more for viewers. Is that what you're saying, buddy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying so. There's two different types of people that would make a good success story out of this tool set. Yeah. And the first one is CAD users, people who make model data and p&id data every day. Those persons are going to need Plant and ABC Pro to make it really work as efficiently as possible. If you go into the ACC, the unified platform, it does mostly all of the same thing, but it does just a hair bit different with the interface. But you can do both. But once you draw the line between who's a CAD user and who's not, then it gets a little bit different. So non-CAD users get ABC or Unified Platform Docs or Autodesk Docs, and they can see everything that they put in the project with permissions, of course. But they have access to see, measure, touch property, and get metadata. They can do all those things, mark up an issue if their permissions are turned on.
Okay, so basically, yeah. So for the Plant3D users who do get access to Plant, they see it all anyway. So if Jared updates the piping model, I can see the updates and equipment and blah, blah, blah. But if I was adding you to the project, Buddy, and you were just a manager or the client, I would only give you access to the shared folder.
You would only give me access to specific folders that you want me to see, and then you can filter that access based on whether I can't see anything, or I can upload only, or I can read only. So there's even greater levels of permissioning. It's just you've got to be real thoughtful of who is going to get what in somewhat of a responsibility or accessibility matrix, and then go from there after you assign roles and just kind of blanket the whole system. It makes it a little bit easier.
So if we take a step back though, so let's say Jared he'd still have to see it. So if I remove Jared's access to the equipment folder in Plant3D.
Is that what you're going to do, Tom? You're going to do that, take my access away?
Well,
just give it a go. Let's see if we can break it.
Okay, so let's
do a check out on that.
Yeah. So if I remove Jared completely, would that be right? And then just add him to the equipment folder.
So you're taking from the okay, so you're taking me out of the members of the project, yeah.
Yeah, that would take him out of the project altogether. If you just want to control his access, then you have to do that a little bit differently.
So if I go to my permissions here, But if I wanted to add Jared only to this folder.
Yeah, so for example, let's say you're doing the p&ids time, I'm doing the equipment. Right, but I'm not meant to see the p&ids for whatever reason.
Yeah, but does that mean, are you going to see?
But you have to have me added to the project at that level to be able to give me permissions.
Yeah, okay. So, but in here, I've got you in the project as let's say just as a member. Okay. So if I just add you to equipment alone.
Yep.
Let's go edit. So can you still open and see the other disciplines?
I'm going to open up the project now because I closed the project. So I'm
Yeah.
going to open the project now. Plant collaboration has encountered an error of share.
Yeah. Okay. So you have to be
in
the full project anyway.
Yeah. So that's accessing it from a CAD application.
Okay,
I came down here and I refreshed. Looks like I can't see any folders at all.
Can't see any folders at all. So you're not at. Hang on, let's see if I add you. I'll add you to project files and see if.
There we go. So I can see that now.
Okay, so again, really design collaboration.
It's got equipment, and then under equipment, it's got consumed, and then piping.
Yeah, so so that's that piping model you consumed just before in your team, but it doesn't. So again, as a plant user, you're just going to be added at the top level anyway.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly.
So this design collaboration. So other than what Buddy said, it's really just for people to view your Plant3D models who don't have Plant3D.
Yeah.
And then you decide when to issue those work packs. So you don't want to give them a model halfway through a Wednesday. You want to give it to them every Friday.
But why would we not use Navisworks and just give it to them in an NWD file on a nightly basis?
I don't know. So let's say they don't have any Autodesk software at all other than ACC.
Wow.
But then I guess you're going to give them NWDs using Navisworks Freedom.
Yeah, Freedom Viewer, it's free. So they can download those, and the majority of my clients all know how to use it, and that's what they're expecting.
So consumed piping, yeah. So Jared, as part of the equipment group, has consumed the piping model, but it still doesn't help you anyway because the consumed folder doesn't appear in Plant3D.
No.
So.
But I can come in, I can select piping. I mean, for me as a designer, it doesn't make any sense for me to have this.
No, because you've got the software to do it.
Yeah.
But if you don't have the software, then and you're just purely using ACC, or your other option is Navisworks Freedom and issue.
So I could come in and start measuring.
Yeah.
Somehow, not that I ever measure in here, so I don't know. But see, again, it's I can measure in Navisworks.
Well, again, it just comes down to if you're allowed to have Navisworks.
Well,
you know how some companies don't even let you install Navisworks Freedom.
If it was 3D. Yeah.
But you can also see that on in 3D, right?
Sorry.
So you guys can view that drawing in 3D as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there an order?
Top left where it says, I think it's the first icon. Yeah, that one.
Oh, yeah.
3D. Yeah, there you go.
Bring that up so you guys would know that there are probably scenarios where you want to measure in this type of view, and that's not necessarily from the orthographical.
Hey, buddy, what was the difference between this viewer and the original viewer?
Are you talking about the view engine from BIM versus the unified
Yeah.
platform?
Yeah.
There are subtle differences. They're not much different. I think they're like a revision or two different. But for somehow, when you run model coordination in the unified platform, it has a different visual hue, almost like a dream sequence that you'll see in a TV show or something. You can tell the fit and finish is different than BIM 360. It's not. I mean, it's still okay. You can still see what you're looking at. It just had this different flair to it, and I brought it up amongst the group internally, and they told me that there's a little bit of a difference, and that's why. So just letting you know.
Yeah, it's two different engines, actually, yeah.
So
But
does this?
Can we still see the properties okay and everything? I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just click on one of the pipes, Jared, and go to properties. Yeah, it all comes in.
Yeah. Okay.
But we can see this in Navisworks as well.
Yeah.
So does this here, like this file here, does it view references? Tom, if you referenced in the equipment into this file here, to this piping file, whether it be, let's just do an overlay.
Okay, so let me do.
Because depending on how people run their Plant3D projects, are they doing one pipe per file? Are they doing one service per file? Are they wanting to measure between two different, files?
Okay, so close that, Jared, and then go
Yeah.
back. It should be at V2, or it's about to do V2.
Let's push the F5.
I'll need to add you back actually to the main. Hang on, let me add you to the folder. Members.
So even though I've consumed this and I'm looking at this file, you're saying that I've got to, I don't get the version 2 if you've updated it?
Yeah, so.
It may take a few seconds, maybe a minute or so before it refreshes.
Yeah.
Version 2.
Hang on, I'm just changing you from project member to admin, so then you just get full access levels back again. So you should see. So go to piping now. Yeah.
I was just going to refresh that and see. Okay, so we'll go to
piping. It should be at V2.
Yeah. V2.
Yep. So that's got the extra of equipment in it.
But then if I come back to my consumed one, it's still V1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, I don't see how design collaboration will help Plant users only, other than so now that's an overlay.
Okay, so it does come in. So therein lies two problems: is that as a designer you might have 5 different files overlaid, but the consumer of that, let's say you're going to invite someone to consume that file, they might want to turn some of those off, or they might want to add some of their own ones in.
So go to on the left-hand side. There's the tree. No, down. Next one, that one. Yep. So external references. Turn it off. Click on the eye.
So you can turn it off. What is that?
Go to the top one, or is it just no down? Yeah, that one.
Yeah, this one here.
Hit the parent and the hierarchy to turn it off.
It's what?
Okay. Hang on, let me go to the 3D view, because we work in the 3D world here,
I'm just saying if you hit the parent model, it'll turn the whole thing off and not the subparts.
So if I, that
Big
one,
level.
this one?
No, go up. Go up 2. There you go, right there. It's just graying it out. That's all that's doing.
If you pick it, Jared, can you right click and say isolate or hide?
I kind of like that feature, Ken.
I do too. I want to see it, but I don't kind of,
Yeah, I like this. I like this feature. I think that's great, good. But the user, basically, the only control you've got is based on the last time that file was saved.
Right.
You know, so it's like if someone wants to turn those files on, you know, let's say Tom works on this and he turns off all the XREFs and then he pushes save. We got the pipe work. I come in here and I want to review it, or you want to review it, Buddy or Ken. You can't put that file in there. You can't attach your own file.
Right. I got what you're saying.
You know, I'm just trying to, work out, is this going to be a viable solution for my business to offer customers where, they got no control. I mean, if they just sing pipes, they see nothing. You know, it's pipe work, but it's not.
Well, isn't the current workflow with Navisworks where you have to create an NWD file and then send it, or push it to a cloud so they can download it and look at it and all that, right? This kind of just keeps you from having to do all that, I believe.
Yeah, but I've just got a script that runs automatically that publishes an NWD file at night and then publishes it to a Dropbox location. So, the next morning everyone's got it.
Right. But are you doing that with the plugin, the BIM 360 plugin
Nope.
for Navisworks?
Nope. Just doing that.
Oh, he's just running a script, Ken, and pushing it into a Dropbox location.
Yeah.
Well, I know. Yeah. But if you use that plugin and you use these coordination spaces, right? You set up files the way you want it, open it up through that plugin, and then you can save those things out. Everything's updated, right? Right, buddy?
Yeah, that's right, Ken.
And
Yeah.
then you can actually save those out to an NWD now and have the property show up, be there.
Mm-hmm. The only thing I found with the BIM plugin for Navisworks is everyone's got to make sure that everything's all checked in or added back to BIM 360 before that's done.
Right.
And also it's trying to create and download every file again all the time. So it takes a long time to open it up.
Yeah, it's a little cumbersome to get the latest and greatest all the time.
Yeah. I mean, when we're doing design, we've got Navisworks open on another screen and we're just pushing refresh all the time. So we're getting to see the latest and greatest.
Because I'm wondering if Forge has an API that could help us with that. Or the Forge API. I know they have an API, but what could we do or program or create to make that happen better or work better?
What are you envisioning? What do you want the Forge app to accomplish?
To be able to do what Jarrett is referring to, what he's doing in Navisworks.
To consolidate all the files in one, just like.
Yeah, you consolidate it, but do it through BIM instead of Navisworks.
I think and again, just putting it out there, why not just have a master file in your plant project, and then whenever someone updates it on the desktop, it goes up to V2 online, and then it just sees everything anyway.
Yeah, that would make more sense, just to having that NWF file up in the cloud.
Oh well, there is, yeah, but then we get into the topic of what Desktop Connector should be doing that too.
Right.
My still gripe with Desktop Connector is that it has these little like tiny little cache kind of files, but they're not forced downloaded onto everyone's PC, and I still don't It used to do something similar like that, but for some reason now, whatever's changed, I can't see an option to force
Yeah, it
download.
doesn't automatically sync.
No, and that's what needs to happen.
Right.
Because then that would also probably resolve some issues with trying to store cats and specs up on BIM 360. Because at the moment, if they don't, if there's specs from some master list somewhere are stored on docs, they can't see it until they do a force sync, which you don't want to have to do. You just want to, like Dropbox, as soon as you drag a file in there, then the 50 other users see that file straight away, not a pointer file.
Correct.
Have you looked in just regular docs at how XRFs behave when you look at a drawing?
You mean through the desktop connector?
No. Just go to docs and look at a 3D model that has live
Oh.
XRF.
Do you want to show your screen and go to one, Tom? Because these are just plain files on their own.
So we're talking about BIM 360 docs now.
Oh, it's just AutoCAD docs. That's kind of where you're at right now, anyway. The way it looks like you are, anyway. Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
So what do you want me to do?
Do you know if that drawing has XREFs in it?
Well, this one does, because we just put one on there.
Yeah. So
looking at it in docs, do you see your XREF?
Yes. So click on the left.
And here.
Yeah, we are looking at it through docs. So there's the XREF there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just wanted you to know that if you leave your XREFs in your models, they will show up in docs. And so if you wanted to build out that master model that was full of XREFs, this is a great opportunity to exercise that.
Oh yeah, that's one of them other things that's a issue too, Jared, is that it doesn't act, or the viewer doesn't act like Navisworks when you turn off XREFs. When you tell Navisworks to not load XREFs, it doesn't work that way through this. When you save it out to an NWD file, it's still going to be XREFs.
Yeah, it doesn't. It ignores the switch that you've hit in the settings.
Right.
Yeah, and I think me and Jared spoke about this a while ago. Like, there should be something in the settings of the project or under the project files folder or something to say don't load XREFs.
Yeah, give me the file reader options in there, right?
Yes.
That would be cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, it does. I mean, I think the whole aim of this was to see how design collaboration could work with Plant, but not. You can see it working, but not for Plant users. It would be, like Buddy said, for external stakeholders or someone who doesn't have the software, just for an easy way to consume models on a weekly basis or bi-weekly or whatever.
Right. Or a good 30, 60, 90 model review between all the stakeholders.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
But I would like to emphasize for the people who don't know that are listening that Plant users will still need a license of the unified platform, a subscription, if you will, in order to read and write their Plant data straight into BIM automatically.
Yes.
So they're still part of the process. They still need a license subscription, but they also see the advantages of a check-in and check-out in Project Manager, which you don't typically get that if you have a network-based project. So there's a little bit of an advantage for Plant users, but the majority of the value is for non-CAD users that are part of the project.
Yeah. And then, I mean, we could get into the Revit side of things, but that's a whole another monster. But I definitely see it. Like I've got my own clients that I do consulting and training with, and they use, design collaboration, and it works well. But I think in something that's an AutoCAD based, where it's single user per file, design collaboration doesn't sort of really tie in with Plant3D as it would with Revit for linking or consuming files, because we're all part of that project anyway, as everyone knows.
Do you still have a marking up process inside the Construction Cloud?
Yes. Yep.
It's exactly the same as BIM 360 as such.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. All of those are still in there. It's just the design collaboration side just doesn't work with Plant, but definitely with Revit. But like I think Buddy or Ken just said, if you're a non-designer in Plant3D, then design collaboration could work for you to consume models for 30, 60, 90% design reviews. All right. Oh well. While we're here and we're just sort of fluffing about, is there anything anyone wants to see? John Eyre?
Yeah, mate. How do we deal with off-page connectors and all that sort of things that are inside Plant, that data connections between drawings? Does that all stay, or that's not usable?
No, that's still works like normal.
If you went to the p&id, can I, as a viewer, use, rather than as a Plant user, can I hit an off-page connector and it'll hot link me to wherever that's going to?
Oh, on the website.
Yeah.
Jared, you want to switch over to? I'm just looking at it now.
Don't think so. I mean, I'm pretty sure if that was a feature, Autodesk would have told everyone about it.
No, so I'm if you go and click on the top left icon, Jared, and switch to the model space view, so 2D view, and then you can pick the off-page connector, but there's nothing. There's show properties, isolate. Yeah, there's no
data. Yeah. Okay.
That would be a nice tool, though.
Oh, that's a great idea. If you're part of Forge in any way, I bet Forge can make that happen.
But we want it to happen at this view here, not the 2D view. We want the layout view.
Well, I agree. I'm just saying I think Forge could do it, but I've seen Forge do some incredible things. I've seen with some scripting done by some Autodesk experts internally, you were able to take a p&id and a 3D model and split your screen completely in half, one being the p&id, one being the model, and every item that you would select in one would zoom in and highlight in the other. So if you
that happens in Revit Sheets.
Yeah, it works that way with Forge on top of Plant3D with some obvious.
Is that the operations, buddy?
Sir?
Isn't that the BIM 360 ops?
No, ops is is it build? Build is your mobile application, but I think ops it kind of got morphed into another flavor of BIM in our newer version.
Yeah, it used to be able to. You could look at your p&id and your model and go between the two and look at certain things, right? And that tool probably could have done what you're asking for it to do.
Yeah, because wasn't it called like side-by-side view or something?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I really think the idea behind activating off-page connectors in a BIM environment is that sounds like gold. And
yeah,
I'm sure it's going to be Forge that would have to probably accomplish that. But man, if you can get that script out there, that would be money.
Well, there you go, buddy. Take it to your developers.
First of all, exactly how would you want that to interact?
I don't know if it would be smart enough to do it right off the top, but if you could just go jump from drawing to drawing, following I think that's what you're probably referring to, right?
Yeah, we'd want to click here and it takes us to that matching off-page connector.
Or give you an option to just view without opening.
Yeah, or right click.
Yeah.
Like it does in the software, either view connected or go to connected.
Yeah.
I think an option palette would be probably better served.
Yeah.
Especially if we can search through data fields or metadata at some point in the future, and maybe I want to pull something up at that same loop number, and I can, search for spec sheets in that option, or find on p&id 2, or there's even an isometric if you're selecting a pipe. What are your options when you click on an object in the p&id? And I think that's baby steps, of course, but that's the big picture for me.
Up in the search window on the top right there, the magnifying glass, just type in there E-101. Enter.
Yeah.
Okay, so do TK-100. No. Okay, switch to 2D view. Is it because it's paper space?
Maybe.
No. So it doesn't even read.
No.
Yeah, searching metadata isn't quite where we want it yet for plant objects, but I'm hopeful we can get that turned around at some point.
I'll tell you what would be nice, Buddy, as well, when you're talking to someone of any sort of power there's some reporting capabilities for Plant3D, like bill of material reports or weld reports, basically report creator inside the project.
Yeah.
In 360.
I agree, and like Buddy says, to a degree, it's like there's no way to access the plant data inside the cloud.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not only that, to do any reporting, you have to have everything, like the latest stuff, copied down to your local PC.
Mm.
And maybe it's something you do through the viewer, I don't know.
Well, again, I would suspect it would be back on Forge, wouldn't it? If Forge is reading the files in the database, then you should be able to create a web page with customizable filters.
Yeah, the basic problem you're running into here is that the metadata is sitting in SQL, not in the DWG. And to get a whole project report or whatever, rather than individual symbology that you're using in the DWGs, you need to get access to that SQL. And there's no connection between this model that we're seeing here and the SQL data.
No, agreed. I'd love to be able to have access to the SQL database that this sits on.
Yeah.
I have a comment on the topic right now. I got a sweet feeling one day it's going to make it. It's going to appear, but no guarantees and no promises. But I feel good about it at some point.
Well, that would be nice. If we have access to these in our database.
Yeah. The conceptual problem you got is that ACC is drawing orientated or file orientated rather than project orientated. So all of that, whether it's spec sheets or whatever, all that extra data which sits in non-drawing format has to be accommodated somehow or another to be navigated.
Yes.
That's right. I'm sure Buddy's writing down notes to pass on to the development team.
Buddy's probably drinking a beer at the same time.
Probably.
It is 9:00 at night. But that's how much Ken and I value you two. So we're happy to.
That's right.
I was just saying to Ken before, Buddy, I'm coming up that way 4 weeks' time, but unfortunately got no time to call in and see you.
That's how he always does, buddy.
Again.
He always does.
You were down here.
But he teases us.
All right.
Jared, it is boiled crab season again.
You know what? I'm still losing the pounds that I put on 3 years ago when I was there with you, eating and drinking that week.
Yeah, come back and I'll fill them back up.
All right. John, any other questions?
No, it was good to have all you guys sort of talk about it. We've been playing around with this internally a bit, but it's still for a serious use, it's a bit of a dog's breakfast. It's not there yet. I think was it Buddy or someone who was talking about Navisworks and drop boxes. I mean, historically, that's how the industry's dealt with this problem. It would be great if for this to work. There's sort of two parts to it. There's the bit that's people who are out in the field and construction and stuff want to refer to all this documentation, and there's the navigation issues with that. And then there's the other issue about how do I involve, it's very well defined how you can work with Plant inside a domain, like a Microsoft domain. When you start dealing with external contractors, and more and more the work's getting fragmented down to expertise for different bits, we need something like integration into ACC to be able to allow all those disparate non-domain users to be able to work. Now, the Revit solution actually works really well, but translating that, and part of the reason for that is that data is all in one file. Whereas when you go back to a DWG solution, the evolution of DWG over the last 30 years has meant that and Autodesk is very DWG centric, so it basically takes snapshots of data inside the DWG where you edit it, and then it throws it back out in Civil and Plant and that into an SQL database or some other format, so you can externalize and see across all DWGs. Whereas in Revit, you've got everything in one big file, so it's pretty easy to get through it all.
I don't know if DWG will ever be like a Revit file ever.
No, never will be. But what needs to happen is these external devices like SQL servers and I've forgotten what they're called in Civil, but where they keep all the metadata in those XML files. These types of viewers need to be able to integrate that across project, because it's very file orientated, this whole ACC trip. It's not project orientated.
Yeah, I agree, John.
I'll tell you, you're spot on for sure, but you got to remember that Revit, it was an acquisition, and AutoCAD was, built into Autodesk from the start. So I mean, it's their primary creation, and so the two are fundamentally different, and I don't see if they'll ever behave in the same way. But
they don't need to. They don't need to. All that needs to happen is that the ACC environment needs to understand the relationship between the metadata and the graphics in the DWG file. And I agree. Someone should probably program that up in Forge if they sat down and looked at it for a couple of days. I don't think it's a big problem. You just got to have the concept of a project inside ACC for those type of platforms that are project oriented, like Revit, like Civil and Plant and whatnot.
Well, I was going to say, what you're going to most likely see isn't an evolution of Revit to understand AutoCAD's a little bit better. You'll probably see the reverse. You'll probably see
for sure. Yeah.
Over data. And also, I don't know if you've ever shown BIM decks, Tomislav or Jared, but if you've got customers who want to translate Plant3D objects with data into Revit, BIMDEX has a translator.
Interesting. BIMDX?
Yes, sir. You navigate it on the share screen, I'll show you where to go to look at the short video. The video isn't narrated, so you could play it on this webinar. Go under Products and go to Plant3D. If I try it again. All right, and then hit the Revit connection. And scroll down a little bit, you'll see a video. There it is, right there with the red. Oh, there you go.
This one?
Yeah, that's it. And then expand the screen out and minimize, mute the sound. But what you'll see here is they'll go through the Plant3D sample project, and they'll verify all of the property levels in the different parts and pieces, equipment, piping, fittings, valves. I think they even did the structural. Yeah, here we go. And so after you go through this process, you'll see them just verify the property. So you'll see that their layer and their sizes and whatnot, all that metadata. And then he's going to go up to the ribbon at the top and hit the new BIMDEX installation section of the ribbon, and he'll export everything in this model. But as the interface will show you, he can filter out things he doesn't want to export, right? So it could be by layer, it could be by block name. So there's a lot of controls to verify what you're going to export. And then he's going to open up Revit and go to the same section of the ribbon and do an import. And I'll just kind of let the video play and let you guys kind of add commentary. Just
It's a full export customized.
So it's not looking at XREFs, it's just looking at what's in that file.
So there's a, hang on, if we come back, it's a custom file name, demo. Yeah, I'd say.
If it's only looking at the layers in there, it's only for that file, so it's not ignoring XREFs.
Yeah.
It's in the red on the bottom. It says that your export layers or blocks.
Yeah, but for a project, you know, of a couple hundred models or more.
You have to do it in each individual model.
Yeah.
You can go to master project drawing and do a bind on it and then send it all out.
All your tags will have question marks at the end of them.
Flat subassembly, flat assembly, complete assembly, category. Pipe accessories, pipe plumbing, piping. You've had a personal demo, buddy? Or you just...
I have. I had BIMDEX give me a private demo and a 10-day license.
Yeah.
Try it. I haven't started the license because I'm afraid I'll fall in love with it and I'll get addicted to the crack too quick. So, but I mean, they did give me a private demo and I have installed the tool. I just didn't activate it yet. But it does look really promising, and look at the quality of what you're getting inside of Revit.
I literally had this question the other day. And without using the software, we just said place a mass and then insert the plant file in that mass.
So this has converted it to a Revit file.
So if he looks at that, so that's a Revit file, that's a pipe, system type. So it doesn't have the plant, well, again, we don't know the plant properties in there. It's got the mechanical items. So they come in stairs. See, there's no other identity data in there, Jared.
Hmm.
Not everything comes across, but it's the most complete thing I've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If you go back to their website after the video, I want you to browse through the different translators they do have. It's pretty impressive. You can tell they built their entire business model on CAD translations.
Yeah. Talk to them about Forge development. Plant3D, SolidWorks, Revit, Inventor, MEP. I wonder what the Revit AutoCAD.
Yeah, I haven't paid much attention to that one yet, but I'm equally as curious.
Well, this comes up a lot for us.
Yeah, this is massive.
You know, we always just say you dumb it down to dumb AutoCAD, but to get a native AutoCAD blocks file. But
do they not have a video?
Yeah.
There you go.
I just want to see what it brings in at the end.
And also, how big is that file that it creates at the end? So is that an import, not an export?
Well, yeah, it's imported from Revit.
Okay.
But I want to see, so if there's structural frames though, what is that? So it's just a block.
See, that's all right for me, what I do.
Yeah, but still, like, you might as well just go from Revit to Advanced Steel then. Oh, okay, so it's got the parameters in there. So you'd have to explode it, but it still doesn't. I think for anything structural, you might as well go Revit to AS. It's easier and quicker, and it keeps it all.
Yeah, but that's just the structural stuff out of Revit, though, isn't it?
Yeah, like anything. Yeah, all right.
It's pretty good. The last time I saw anything like that is when Dave Tyner and I were sitting at an airport at Philadelphia, and he developed an exporter from Revit into AutoCAD, but it was big. Those files were massive.
Yeah, I think this one's got promise. I literally got asked this 2 days ago. So, all right.
Concludes my entertainment for the evening.
Bevan, any questions? Oh, John, any other questions? You're all good?
No, man, it's all good. Great.
Cool. Bevan? No. Buddy, Ken, thank you for your input.
You're very welcome.
I saw you two were getting together. I wasn't going to miss it.
Yeah.
Me neither.
You blokes.
All right. Well, thank you very much. As I said, this has been recorded, so I'll publish it up online. If you come across anyone who wants to view it, just send them to my YouTube channel. Oh, Bevan?
You bet.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, thank you very much for that. It was very interesting.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Cheers. Bye.
Enjoy.
Cool.
Thanks, gentlemen.
See ya.
Cheers. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.